Another reason the off-screen death theory holds weight is the way the show draws parallels between Brayden and Famous. Both characters were central to key power shifts, and both met fates that are shrouded in mystery. In both cases, their departures affect multiple characters and plot lines, creating ripple effects that shape future story developments. By choosing not to show their deaths directly, the writers achieve several objectives. They preserve suspense, they allow fans to speculate and remain engaged, and they maintain flexibility for bringing the characters back in unexpected ways, if needed. This method also underscores a recurring theme in Power Legacy. Power and influence do not always manifest openly. A character can be removed from the narrative physically, but remain a force that drives tension, fear, and strategic decisions among those left on screen. The subtle visual and narrative cues supporting this theory are everywhere once you start looking. Empty rooms, sudden silences, the nervous demeanor of other characters, and unexplained pauses in critical moments all hint at Brayden's potential fate. The audience is encouraged to notice patterns, to see the gaps in the storyline as intentional narrative devices rather than oversights. These omissions generate suspense, keeping viewers on edge and fueling fan discussions across forums and social media. The ambiguity surrounding Brayden's exit also adds to his mystique, making him a character whose influence persists even when he is absent. Off-screen deaths like this are not just plot tools. They are strategic narrative choices that shape the story's emotional and psychological landscape, forcing the audience to engage actively and question what is real versus what is implied. Ultimately, the off-screen death theory transforms Brayden Weston from a missing character into a mystery that drives speculation and analysis. It positions him as a pivotal figure whose absence impacts the story just as much as his presence did by hiding his fate. The writers have created a compelling narrative tension that continues to captivate fans, keeping Brayden's story alive long after the season ended. Every unanswered question, every vague reaction, and every unexplained moment is a breadcrumb leading the audience toward the truth. And the ongoing debate about his fate ensures that Brayden Weston remains one of the most intriguing and enigmatic figures in Power Legacy Season 1. Season 1 of Power Legacy is filled with small, almost imperceptible details that hint at Brayden Weston's fate, and when examined closely, these moments form a pattern that cannot be ignored. One of the earliest clues appears in scenes where Brayden is expected to interact with other major players, but his presence is strangely missing. Conversations that should have included him are abruptly cut, or characters refer to him indirectly, as if avoiding a sensitive subject. For instance, a discussion about a key alliance suddenly shifts focus to other characters, and viewers are left noticing the empty space Brayden should have occupied. These narrative gaps are carefully placed, creating a sense that something significant has happened without ever showing it directly. Fans who rewatch the season often point out these moments, noting that the timing of his absence coincides with pivotal events that could have placed him in danger. Even in scenes where he is mentioned in passing, the reactions of other characters are telling. Subtle gestures, lingering glances, or changes in tone suggest a level of seriousness that indicates more than just routine dialogue. The show deliberately uses these techniques to make the audience aware that Brayden's story is more complicated than it appears on the surface. Another key clue lies in the way objects and surroundings are used to suggest his fate. Items associated with Brayden, such as his personal belongings or office space, are often shown abandoned or untouched after his disappearance. In certain episodes, the camera lingers on these objects for a beat longer than usual, signaling to attentive viewers that they hold significance. It is a subtle visual storytelling device that conveys absence without words. These moments are often accompanied by tension-filled music or slow cuts, reinforcing the idea that Brayden's removal is intentional and meaningful. Additionally, his unexplained absences coincide with unusual behavior from other characters, such as nervous glances or hurried departures, which further reinforces the suspicion that something serious has happened off-screen. Each clue is carefully layered, requiring viewers to connect visual and narrative dots to grasp the full picture. Dialogue also plays a crucial role in hinting at Brayden's fate. Lines that may initially seem casual or inconsequential often carry hidden meaning upon closer inspection. For example, cryptic remarks about missing people, sudden references to danger, or ambiguous statements about handling situations all suggest that Brayden may no longer be part of the story in a conventional way. These lines are delivered with subtle emphasis, sometimes paired with a reaction shot of another character, indicating that the words carry weight beyond what is explicitly stated. The writers use this technique to maintain ambiguity while planting clues for viewers who are willing to pay attention. Every offhand comment, every hint of tension, and every unexplained pause contributes to the overarching mystery of Brayden Weston's disappearance. Even seemingly insignificant moments hold meaning. A hallway left empty, a phone call that ends abruptly, or a sudden change in lighting can all act as narrative signposts pointing toward Brayden's fate. The show's careful use of timing and perspective amplifies the sense of absence and unease, making the audience aware that Brayden's story is unfinished yet heavily influential. Repeatedly, the season demonstrates that his presence or lack thereof has consequences for every major plotline. Characters shift strategies, react cautiously, and navigate unseen threats, all of which can be traced back to the subtle indications that Brayden is no longer actively participating. These carefully crafted details combine to form a web of clues that reward attentive fans, inviting them to piece together the mystery for themselves. In essence, the show turns his absence into a storytelling device, allowing the audience to experience suspense, intrigue, and speculation simultaneously. By analyzing these visual and narrative hints, viewers begin to see a pattern that strongly suggests Brayden Weston's fate was intentionally hidden, making his off-screen disappearance one of the most compelling mysteries in Power Legacy season. Fans of Power Legacy have spent countless hours dissecting every episode of Season 1, and Brayden Weston's disappearance has become one of the most debated topics in the community. Theories about his fate range from the plausible to the far-fetched, but each offers a different lens through which to interpret the subtle clues the show has left behind. One popular theory suggests that Brayden was killed off-screen as part of a deliberate plot to create suspense and fuel the overarching narrative. Proponents of this idea point to the parallels with Famous, whose unseen death also disrupted the story while keeping viewers guessing. The similarities are striking. Both characters had influence over multiple storylines, both were deeply connected to other major players, and both vanished without a clear visual resolution. Fans argue that by removing Brayden in this way, the writers achieved multiple objectives. They heightened tension, maintained mystery, and set the stage for future plot twists that could involve his disappearance in unexpected ways. This theory emphasizes the power of absence, suggesting that sometimes a character's influence continues even when they are no longer physically present on screen. Another prevalent theory speculates that Brayden is not dead but instead is operating from the shadows. Supporters of this idea point to moments in Season 1 where his presence is implied through dialogue or subtle visual cues, even after he seems to vanish. For example, cryptic remarks by other characters about handling situations behind the scenes or references to someone still watching are interpreted as hints that Brayden may be alive and manipulating events from a hidden position. This interpretation fits with his established character traits: strategic, observant, and always several steps ahead of everyone else. Fans suggest that his off-screen absence is a clever narrative device, allowing him to remain an active force in the story without appearing on camera. This theory not only preserves the tension surrounding his fate, but also keeps the door open for future surprises, ensuring that his influence lingers in the series even when he seems gone. Some fans go further, theorizing that Brayden's disappearance is tied to larger conspiracies within the show's universe. These speculations often focus on unexplored connections between characters, potential betrayals, and hidden alliances that could explain why his exit was kept off-screen. According to these ideas, Brayden may have uncovered secrets or made enemies, powerful enough to remove him quietly without a public confrontation. Observant viewers point to subtle details such as nervous glances, coded language in conversations, or unusual behavior from allies as evidence supporting the theory of a hidden plot against him. This level of analysis demonstrates how carefully the show plants seeds for speculation, rewarding viewers who pay close attention to the nuances of each scene. It also reinforces the idea that Brayden Weston's fate is more than just a missing character. It is a carefully crafted mystery that challenges fans to think critically and connect the dots. Discussion around Brayden. Symbolism and visual foreshadowing are also present throughout Episode 2. Certain props or repeated visual motifs carry meaning beyond the immediate scene. For example, a flickering light above a seat, an open bag slightly out of place, or a recurring logo on a passenger's clothing can serve as subtle indicators of danger, upcoming betrayal, or hidden agendas. The show carefully places these elements so that viewers who pay close attention can begin to predict the twists before they happen. These Easter eggs aren't just decorative. They deepen the story and make the climactic ending more satisfying, because it feels like everything was leading up to that moment even if it wasn't obvious at first glance. Even the timing of character actions throughout the episode contains hidden significance. Small hesitations, choices to look away, or the order in which passengers move during tense moments all contribute to the larger story. For instance, a character who appears to make a mistake might actually be executing a hidden plan that only becomes clear in retrospect. Similarly, interactions that seem incidental at first, like a shared glance between two passengers, can hint at trust, fear, or a hidden connection that influences how the ending unfolds. By layering these tiny signals across dialogue, visuals, and timing, the episode rewards careful viewers and sets up future episodes with subtle seeds that will bloom later in the season. Finally, Episode 2 uses lighting, framing, and color very deliberately to guide attention and emphasize hidden details. Shadows, reflections in windows, and even the color of a passenger's clothing during key moments can hint at danger, deception, or allegiance. These visual cues are easy to miss, but they create an additional layer of storytelling that complements the plot, character behavior, and suspense. The more carefully one watches, the more these hidden elements reveal themselves, adding depth to the ending and enriching the overall experience of the episode. The combination of dialogue, visual cues, sound design, and symbolic details ensures that Episode 2 is packed with layers of meaning that make the climactic ending both shocking and deeply satisfying. The ending of Episode 2 sets the stage for the rest of Season 2 in ways that are both subtle and far-reaching, establishing narrative threads that will shape every upcoming moment. The most immediate consequence is the shift in power dynamics among both the passengers and the hijackers. Certain characters who had seemed passive or vulnerable now emerge as crucial players capable of altering the course of events. Their actions in the final moments reveal hidden resilience, intelligence, or ambition, which positions them as key figures in the unfolding drama. Conversely, some characters who previously appeared in control are now exposed as fallible or limited, creating tension and uncertainty about their ability to navigate future crises. The show cleverly balances these shifts, ensuring that viewers are left questioning who will rise and who will falter as the story progresses. From a narrative standpoint, the ending introduces a layer of unpredictability that redefines the stakes for the rest of the season. The hijackers' strategy is revealed to be more complex and calculated than previously understood, hinting that what viewers have seen so far is only a small part of a much larger plan. This revelation forces both characters and audience to reconsider assumptions about how the hijacking is being conducted. Small victories or failures in Episode 2 now carry consequences that will ripple forward. meaning every choice made by a character in future episodes will be weighed against the new understanding of the hijacker's capabilities. The tension created by this expanded perspective keeps the audience engaged, as they anticipate how the characters will respond to a threat that is constantly evolving. The ending also significantly develops character arcs, emphasizing growth, moral complexity, and the limits of trust. Characters who take decisive action in episode to demonstrate courage, but also reveal vulnerabilities and ethical dilemmas that will be explored later. For instance, a passenger who intervened in a critical moment may gain respect and influence among others, but their actions could provoke retaliation or force them into difficult decisions down the line. Similarly, the hijackers themselves are shown as multidimensional, capable of adapting, manipulating, and exploiting weaknesses in ways that create ongoing psychological tension. These character developments are essential for the season's progression because they ensure that the story remains grounded in personal stakes as well as physical danger, making the plot emotionally resonant in addition to thrilling. Thematically, the ending reinforces recurring ideas about trust, deception, and survival. Episode 2 underscores that appearances can be deceiving, allies can betray, and perceived enemies may act unpredictably. This theme will continue to shape the narrative, influencing how characters interact, form alliances, and make strategic decisions. The audience is encouraged to question motives and anticipate betrayals, creating a layer of engagement that goes beyond the immediate action on screen. Every subsequent episode will build on this foundation, using the lessons of episode 2 to heighten suspense, deepen character exploration, and introduce moral complexity. Finally, the ending hints at long-term plot threads that will become central to the rest of Season 2, unresolved questions about the hijacker's ultimate goal, the hidden relationships between passengers, and the potential consequences of split-second decisions all serve as seeds for future storylines. These elements provide a roadmap for the season, ensuring that viewers have both immediate tension and ongoing intrigue to follow. By combining high-stakes action, subtle foreshadowing, and character-driven drama, Episode 2's ending functions not only as a climactic moment in itself, but also as a pivotal turning point that reshapes the entire narrative landscape. Understanding these implications allows viewers to fully appreciate the complexity of the story and prepares them for the twists, betrayals, and revelations that will define the rest of the season. Episode 2 leaves the door wide open for speculation, and fans have already begun piecing together potential scenarios for how the rest of the season might unfold. One of the most discussed ideas revolves around the hidden alliances among the passengers. Subtle cues in the episode hint that some passengers may have connections that have not yet been revealed, suggesting that betrayals or unexpected support could appear in later episodes. For example, a brief interaction or lingering glance in the background, previously dismissed as incidental, could point to a secret plan forming between two seemingly unrelated characters. These potential alliances add layers of tension because viewers are left guessing who can be trusted and whose motives remain unclear. Theories about hidden agendas often build from these small details, turning minor moments into major narrative foreshadowing. Another popular line of speculation involves the hijackers themselves. While Episode 2 reveals that their strategy is highly calculated, fans have noticed inconsistencies that might indicate internal conflict or hidden motives among them. Some theorize that one of the hijackers may be planning to double-cross the others, creating a twist that could dramatically shift the power balance. This idea is supported by subtle body language, hesitations, and uneven communication that attentive viewers can catch during tense sequences. By leaving room for these interpretations, the show invites audiences to actively engage with the story rather than passively watch it, turning every detail into a potential clue for what might happen next. The ending also raises questions about survival and decision-making, which are central to fan speculation. For instance, certain passengers made split-second choices that allowed them to influence the hijacker's plan, but these actions may come with unintended consequences. Fans have debated how these choices might affect relationships between characters, or whether they might create new vulnerabilities that the hijackers will exploit in future episodes. This type of analysis encourages viewers to think ahead and consider the cascading effects of each character's actions, making the show more interactive and thought-provoking. The idea that every decision carries weight adds a layer of strategy to the narrative, engaging viewers who enjoy predicting outcomes based on subtle clues. Some theories focus specifically on the visual and symbolic elements that episode 2 introduced. Fans have pointed out repeated motifs such as specific colors, objects in the cabin, or recurring camera angles, which could hint at hidden connections or upcoming plot twists. For example, a particular seat, a seemingly random personal item, or even a light flicker at a critical moment may be a visual breadcrumb leading to a larger revelation. These symbolic elements encourage rewatching and close attention, as viewers try to decode the hints planted by the show's creators. Many of these small details, when combined with character behavior and dialogue, form the foundation for complex fan theories that could reshape expectations for the remainder of the season. Additionally, some speculations focus on the broader implications for the overarching story of Season 2. Viewers have begun theorizing about how Episode 2's events might connect with past episodes, suggesting that certain characters' actions could influence long-term outcomes beyond the immediate hijacking scenario. Questions about loyalty, revenge, and hidden motives dominate these discussions, with fans considering scenarios where a character